reopen and we reopen too fast, or we reopen and there's unanticipated consequences and we see that number go up again. Well, you're being hyper cautious. Oh, really? Go look at other countries that went through exactly this, started to reopen, and then they saw the infection rate go back up again. So let's at least learn from past mistakes. We've laid out a way to reopen, coming up with a comprehensive plan, first that is regional in nature. We have 7 states that we're working with. The virus doesn't understand state boundaries, doesn't understand that it needs a passport. You know, it defies all of our norms. So how do you put the best minds together in a 7-state area, come up with a regional strategy? Because the virus can get on Amtrak, the virus can get on a plane, the virus can get in a car and drive up 95. We're all connected. And in truth, since nobody knows where they're going and nobody's done this before, let's think together and let's plan together. If we can't come up with a common plan, let's see if we can come up with a plan that's not contradictory. Let's see if we can get to a place where what Connecticut does, New Jersey does, is not counter to what we're doing here in New York. And that's the point of the 7 states working together. Also, the point is it doesn't work unless you coordinate the reactivation of all the systems. I did this graphic because no one got when I went like this yesterday. And I said the gears have to mesh. This is what I was saying. I could see, Nick, that you did not get what this meant. So that's a clarifier for you personally from yesterday. We also have to be clear on who is responsible for each element of the opening. The president said last night that he has total authority for determining how and when states reopen. That is not an accurate statement, in my opinion. Now that we know that government actually matters and government is relevant and that government has to be smart, because what government does is determining how this goes. It's literally determining, in many ways, life and death. We have to be smart about it. The federal-state relationship is central to our democracy. This has been a topic discussed since our founding fathers first decided to embark on this entire venture, right? This is basic federalism, the role of the states and the role of the federal government. And it is important that we get this right. Our founding fathers understood, and we have to remember today, that the balance between the state and the federal, that magnificent balance that is articulated in the Constitution, is the essence of our democracy. We don't have a king in this country. We didn't want a king, so we have a constitution and we elect the president. The states, the colonies, formed the federal government. The federal government did not form the states. It's the colonies that ceded certain responsibility to a federal government. All other power remains with the states. It's basic to our Constitution and that federal-state relationship. Hamilton, who in many ways was representative of this discussion of the balance of power. State governments possess inherent advantages which will ever give them an influence and ascendancy, a beautiful word, over the national government, and will forever preclude the possibility of federal encroachments on the states. That their liberties indeed can be subverted by the federal head is repugnant to every rule of political calculation. Strong language, but that was the premise. So there are laws and there are facts, even in this wild political environment. What do? We do what we do because we are New York tough, but tough is more complex than many people think it is. within that word tough is smart and united and disciplined and loving. They are not, they're not inconsistent to be tough and to be loving. Let me make a personal point, not necessarily a factual point. The president did his briefing last night, and the president was clearly unhappy. The president did a number of tweets this morning where he's clearly unhappy. Did a tweet about mutiny on the Bounty and governors are mutineers. I didn't follow the exact meaning of the tweet, but the basic essence of the tweet was that he was not happy with governors and that this was a mutiny. The president is clearly spoiling for a fight on this issue. The worst thing we can do in all of this is start with political division and start with partisanship. The best thing we have done throughout this past 44 days is we've worked together and we haven't raised political flags. Even in this hyper-partisan environment, even though it's an election year, even though the politics is so intense, we said not here, not in this. This is too important for anyone to play politics. It was a no politics zone, right? This is just about doing the right thing, working together. And that's important, and we have to stay there. We're all in a little bit of a reflective mood. I'm in a reflective mood. And everything we do here is so important, and every day is so important. And I was thinking after the president made his comments and looking at some of the remarks and looking at the tweets, reminded me of a poster I saw when I was in grade school. St. Gerard Magella, Queens, New York, Catholic school. Red blazer, gray pants, white shirt, little clip-on tie, the tie with the hook. Remember the hook tie that you had to put the hook on?
Oh my God, not
and
this
it
shit
looked like you
again.
had a real tie, which I never understood because the hook was hard.
We have spent decades building a partnership.
How to just tie the tie would have been easier, but I was in grade school and there was that poster that came from a Sandburg poem, I think. Suppose they gave a war and nobody came. And I was looking at the poster and I didn't really get it because even then I was very literal. Suppose they gave a war and nobody came. So I'm looking at the poster and a priest came up behind me and said, "What's wrong, Ed?"
Please, God, no.
I said, "I don't understand that. Suppose they gave a war and nobody came. How could that happen?
Give this fucking clown a platform.
Then you wouldn't have a war."
Every fucking
Oh,
channel.
okay.
Oh, I guess not that channel. Huh?
What would happen
Chris Rondo is with us.
Oh,
He's
thank
the
God.
CEO of Planet Fitness.
Say
Chris,
that,
welcome to the program. Good to see you on the air with us. Now,
Yeah, thank you so much.
as I understand it, you're offering free daily workouts from Planet Fitness, and I can go on your YouTube channel, and you've got an increase in subscriptions of 130% during this virus. I can go on your YouTube channel. That's free. I think you're doing a wonderful thing, but my question to you is, how are you making any money out of this?
Yeah, thank you, Stuart. I really feel that the Planet Fitness is the largest gym chain here in the U.S., and it's really the right thing to do for us to not only help bring our Planet Fitness brand to our members that are stuck at home right now, but also the rest of the population that's also at home. And fitness in today's world, really, especially what we're all going through, is more important than ever. Help build the immune system, release stress. So we think it's the right thing to do, and I think it'll pay us dividends in the future.
Everybody else is doing it. I mean, you've got a lot of competition here. It's all free, isn't it?
Yeah, sure it is. It's all free. We've had, you're right, 130% increase in YouTube subscriptions, over 5 million views. And even our Planet Fitness app, which we launched last summer with 500 videos on it for workouts, is up 146% in daily downloads. And our content consumption is up 220%.
Well, in the long run, you need people to go back to the actual gym and pay the fee, whatever it is. Do you think they will do that?
Yeah, I think this really is just exposure, right? And I think what Planet Fitness has done with our $10 membership is really expose people to the idea and the affordability to be able to work out in the gym. And I feel that this actually builds the brand awareness outside our four walls and puts us in your living room. And, you know, I think at-home fitness is great. It's a great supplement, but it's really not the end-all, be-all. And it's never really as good a workout as a real true fitness facility is, whether it's Planet or any fitness facility. So I think it's for us, it's just really expanding the value of our membership to our members and also just to our community.
Chris, on a daily basis, have you any idea how many people are actually taking these free daily workouts?
Yeah, so we have it every evening at 7 p.m. for Facebook Live, and then we have it Mondays and Wednesdays at 8 a.m. for Facebook Live. We added those because the demand is there. During the live broadcast, it's like 5 to 7,000 watching it live, and then we post it on YouTube, which is much more. We have about 5.5 million views here on these videos, and we really just started doing these 3 weeks ago.
That's a good thing. Chris Rondo, Planet Fitness CEO, thanks very much for joining us, Chris. We'll give you more time next time you're on the air. We appreciate it. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
All right, everyone, there will be more Varney after this.
Spaceship back 220,000 miles 50 years ago. That's America. Okay, figure out how to do testing. Figure out how to use technology to do tracing. That's what we have to work on. And we have to do that together. We have to do as a government what our people have done, right? Sometimes political leaders can learn best from following people who are normally ahead of the politicians. Look at how people have been selfless and